in frame, and that's not in focus. Quick, break out the virtue signal. A lot of cucks in the media lately, or a lot of hypocritical cucks. Cucks and Bitches would be a pretty good title, but I don't think YouTube would be cool with that. Click the links for Odyssey, Bit Chute, and no Discord. There will be no Discords ever again, because I have an SJW stalker. Why I have an SJW stalker? I don't know. Why you'd stalk a channel with like 1,000 members on it is kind of bizarre to me. So, no, they have successfully chased me off of Discord, but I will be on Telegram. You can join that, and you can upload files on Telegram. It's got a 2 gigabyte limit. It's freaking amazing. So, or support the channel by joining the channel, become a member, the various other links. It's weird who the left decides to cancel. It's like there are 2 rules for different classes of people. Sure wish I could figure that out. It's almost ununderstandable. Anyway, so there's a lot of celebrity cucking. These people, they lick their finger and put it up to determine which way the wind is blowing, and that determines their future. You get The Rock, even Andrew Wang, even who's that O'Rourke guy who's 2019 said, "We're coming to take your AR-15s," and now he's running for office in Texas, and we must support and uphold the Second Amendment. Try again, bitch. John Cena apologizing to China. Even Howard Stern has got some of these people have got their little bits of history kind of coming back to bite them. But, like I said, some people will get bit and some people will just get completely overlooked. It's weird, isn't it? Rules don't apply to everyone equally. It's like there's 2 classes of people. 2 legs good, 4 legs bad. We're all equals. But some animals are more equal than others. And when you see somebody like The Rock and John Cena, oh, that's a sweet guitar. Oh, hey, that's correct. Weird, shocking. Thanks for the warning. That's some peak first world problems. Let's go back and look at that guitar. Peak first world problems when they need to give you a warning for language. Wow, maybe broaden your horizon, or you need a warning because you're going to hear some potty mouth. So it's weird to see like The Rock and John Cena. You kind of expect the exterior to match the interior. I mean, admittedly, that's so foolish. When you think like, oh, they're going to be, they're going to have some backbone, they're going to have some spine because they have this exterior image they're presenting. It's like, no, they're complete cucks and bitches. They will say or do anything to stay in the limelight. Oh, this is Joni Mitchell. That was Neil Young with the homophobic slur. This is Joni Mitchell in blackface, who she also pulled her music from Spotify as well as Young did. It's like these people will parrot anything their masters tell them to parrot. You had a backbone for about 30 seconds, and then you got a little bit of pressure, and you immediately cave. It's good luck, Rock. It's like pressure from the most developmentally disabled people in the world, which is what people on Twitter are. Anyone on Twitter, it's like, yeah, so like a bunch of people who probably not going to support you anyway are telling you that they're not going to support you if you don't say and act and do exactly what they tell you to do. Oh, what happened to diversity of thought? No, comrade, there's no diversity of thought allowed. So, what if the real friends we made along the way was listening to people pretend to be shocked and outraged about the N-word or whatever, any other kind of politically incorrect word? Listening to that is hysterical, but also the hypocrisy, because everyone has got something that's done something politically incorrect, which, I try to do every day. And let's be honest here, while for myself, I do use slurs of all sorts on a daily basis. I go into withdrawal if I don't get to say certain words, at least on a daily basis. Thing is, I don't use any in a derogatory sense, which in terms of cancellation won't matter because context doesn't matter, as Sargon of Akkad found out when I forget who he was talking to, but he called some guys he disagreed with a word that he thought that they would be offended by, which is probably accurate. But it also, if you heard that exchange with Sargon, you understood what he was doing. He was trying to make a point by calling them the things that they claimed to be opposed to, sort of things. That's, most reasonable adults would hear that and understand the context of it, because we're at least at the center of the bell curve, if not slightly to the right. And people who are to the left of the bell curve can easily be manipulated. And you see them on Twitter all the time. They're just the mindless zombies on Twitter who they see which way the wind is blowing, and they just jump on board with their comrades. It's like, oh, we're going to cancel The Rock now. Oh, no, don't worry. Don't worry. The Rock will bend over for you. He will immediately recant his position. So is that a firmly held belief that you're able to switch opinions on like 180 instantly? Or do you not have any firmly held beliefs? Do you have any principles whatsoever? Or is like the fame and the money the only bottom principle? And there are people who are coming out and supporting Joe Rogan, and there are people who like Andrew Wang and The Rock, who will just say or do anything their masters tell them to do, because there's no there. There's no core to these people. So I don't remember who Carl Benjamin was arguing with, but I'm kind of sure Carl was in the wrong, because he's got this kind of like milk toast view of, I don't know, Western liberalism, which is kind of a slow poison, where even a foaming at the mouth, tinfoil hat, wig nat is actually a much more logical and better choice, because at least they're moving in the direction they want to move in. It's vaguely to the right, or maybe a third position, but they're going where they want to go politically, where Sargon is going in the direction the left wants to go, even though he claims to be some kind of centrist. It's like, well, that's a losing proposition, so you're really on the left, because you're moving left as the window keeps shifting left. You keep moving along with it. Like, gee, conservatives, what have you conserved over the past 50 years? Oh, absolutely nothing. Our BLT, how is anal sex a conservative value? That's a good question. It's a good question. Hey, quick, give Israel more money. Oh, remember Dan Crenshaw? You guys better not say those things. Could affect your future. You just threaten us on behalf of a foreign nation? Yes, he did. Listening to Carl Benjamin, who seems like a nice, fun guy who'd probably be fun to smoke a J with. It's like listening to Yoko Ono. And you know, like people who have this public persona, what they say in the DMs is a whole different. And actually, I did have a chance to talk to him for some bizarro, unrelated reason a long time ago, back when we were both on Twitter, and then we both got kicked off at the same time. Anyway, so Carl, Rogan, and everyone else is, you know, they're using these words in context, because it's kind of the concept of liberalism, and free expression is a very important plank in the West, or, you know, and Europe, they're learning that they thought they had free expression, and then as it turns out, oh, not so much. Oh, well, it's just always been understood that as Englishmen, we would want to have an open marketplace of ideas. Yeah, but you didn't write that down, and your country is ruled by barristers and solicitors. So until you write that down, the future of your country is going to be determined in courts, either in courts or, you know, in the streets with rifles. Oh, wait, you gave up those rifles. So it's going to be determined by attorneys. And so unless you have these rights enumerated, rights from God, we're just writing them down. Turns out you don't have the rights you thought, but we're Englishmen. We value, as the country changes, those values will change also. Hey, America's no better. Constitution, ultimately, it's just a piece of paper without the people who made the thing great. Anyway, try to get around that YouTube algorithm any day now. So they're kind of in a tricky spot, because they're confronted with using language in context. They have nothing to apologize for, because they didn't do anything wrong. You don't apologize for a word hurting someone's feelings, because that's kind of on them. They're being a pussy. Nobody's puts a gun to your head and says you got to listen to Joe Rogan. It really should be like, okay, if the most you want to have a trigger warning, like, oh, this show is going to use language some may find offensive. If you're a soy boy pussy, you probably want to check out something from the easy listening section or the new age. You don't apologize if you didn't do anything wrong, and you don't apologize to SJWs under any circumstances whatsoever, because it gives them leverage over you. And the thing is, Disney just came out with a video on microaggressions, and all this kind of stuff is saying is you have conflict between tribes, you have conflict along tribal lines, and it's like one group of people are manipulating these other two groups of people to foment discord. But the logical conclusion is, oh, well, these groups should just separate and have their own kind of spaces, whether that's, digitally or in the real world to avoid conflict. It's like, no, you have to be together and there has to be conflict, but one has to be beat down, and the conflict is only going to be explored in one direction. Well, it's easier to just not be around each other if there's going to be this endless conflict, and if it's not going to be an open, honest discussion about how it goes both ways. And it's not, because people like Disney and Garland Frankel and Garland Finkel, I forget his name. His grandson or his daughter, they're selling the CRT lessons in school, and he's the one who's sending the FBI after parents. It's like, I can't help but feel there's a little bit of bias here, and it's not an open exploration of ideas. It's kind of a globalist, Bolshevik Marxist propaganda control of ideas, and it's only going one way. Yeah, I feel that way because it's accurate. Anyway, you don't apologize for someone trying to manipulate you through language. If you don't like the words, then just don't listen to the show. But that's on you. You're trying to manipulate they're trying to manipulate the discourse, and it has nothing to do with the N-word. And to be honest, at this point, it's all deck chairs on the Titanic. This thing either has to play out to a civil war. I mean, because the alternative is just to continue along into like a South Africa meets Brazil, the Brazilification of America, just this kind of crappy. Anyway, the thing is, it's like peak Weimar to worry about a word when you get like Detroit, Memphis, Chicago, St. Louis. You get people who are deleted every day. It's like, and here's something the left always does when you bring up these comparisons of two things that are completely unequal. They go, well, we can worry about two things at once. Yeah, but you never do. The entire social discourse is on Joe Rogan and language, but you're not, like, there's no social discourse about Detroit, Chicago, Memphis, St. Louis at all. So you say we can discuss two things at once, but we're not. We're really not. And these things are orders of magnitude different from each other. The word is inconsequential. Joe Rogan is inconsequential. Shouldn't America be focusing on Detroit? Like, wouldn't that be priority number one? People are getting deleted. All those cities, the deletion rate is 1 or 2 per day. There's a Chicago website that covers just Chicago, Malum and Say acts. They never run out of things to talk about, because it's like a war. It's like what the fuck happened to this? Did this thing just freeze? It's not timing it. Okay, I think my phone is crapping itself. My phone froze. Well, it's gonna have to be good enough for today. Yep, my phone did freeze. It's probably time.